everyone, my name is Rachel, and in this video we're going to learn how to knit. We're going to learn how to put the yarn on the needles and make a square pot handle. You're going to need two things. Some yarn that can be big and chunky, like this, or it can be small and delicate, like this. The first thing that we need to do is put the yarn on the needle. So we're gonna pull a good length of yarn just a couple of times. No need to be too specific until we have just a little pile of yarn here, just over to the left. We're gonna take the yarn that we have and make an upside down U like this. And we're gonna pull down the top of the U until we have these two little loopies like this. We're gonna take this part of the loop that connects underneath and pick it up and put the loops together. We're gonna turn them to the left and put them down. Now we're gonna take one of our knitting needles and poke it right through the loopies. And we're gonna pull on these ends here until we've got it nice and tight. We're gonna take our needle and put it in our left hand. This next part is a little funky. So we have two strings here, and we're going to take our pointer finger and our thumb, and we're going to put them behind the yarn. So we've got our pointer finger yarn over here and our thumb finger yarn over here. And we're going to rotate our hand out. Just rotate it out. We're going to take the point of the knitting needle and put it under the outside thumb yarn and over the inside pointer yarn. And we've got these two little loopies on our needles here. We're going to take our thumb and push right over the edge and pull the extra down. It's okay, we're going to do it a bunch more. So we've got our pointer finger and our thumb behind the yarn. Rotate our hand out. Take the point of the needle and go outside and under the thumb yarn, inside and over the pointer finger yarn. We're going to take our thumb and push it off. I'm going to do it one more time. Pointer and thumb behind the yarn, rotate our hand, take the knitting needle, go outside and under the thumb yarn, inside and over the pointer yarn, and push our thumb off. These are called stitches. So right now we have 5 stitches and we need 10. So go ahead and put 5 more stitches on the needle. All right, so now that we've got our 10 stitches on our knitting needle, this is our first row. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to cut this tail off. And the reason that we're doing that is so that we don't accidentally knit it into our nice little square. And we can go ahead and just put that to the side. Now this right here is going to be the bottom right hand corner of our square. And we're going to build on top of this row. So we're going to take our knitting needle with our stitches on it in our left hand and sort of scooch the stitches up to the end and hold the knitting needle. We're going to take our empty one in our right hand. We take the point of the empty knitting needle and we're going to put it right in between this first and second stitch, right next to the other one. So they're right next to each other. And we've got this nice tail over here. We're going to go behind the right knitting needle and right through the middle and pull it down. So let me show you again. We're going to take our empty knitting needle, put it right next to our knitting needle that has the rows on it. Take our nice tail, wrap it behind, and it comes through the middle. And we're going to take our empty knitting needle on the right and push down. So now our needles are connected. And now we're just going to push off the left needle. Don't worry, we're going to do it again. I'm going to take the right knitting needle, push right next to the next stitch, take our tail, go behind the right needle and down the middle, take the right point and push it down through. We're going to push it off. One more time. Take the right needle next to the left. Take our tail around the back and down the middle. Push it down and push it off. We're going to go ahead and do that all the way to the end of the row. Now that we've finished knitting our first row, we're going to switch our needles. So the part that's got all the fuzzy yarn on it to our left hand and the empty needle to our right hand. And we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing that we just did. We're going to knit. So take the empty needle, push it next to the first stitch, around the back and down the middle. Push the right needle down and push the stitch off the left needle. Now we're going to go ahead and keep knitting until the end of this row. Keep passing the needles back and forth once you've finished a row, and keep knitting until you've hit a square. It's going to take a little bit of time, and that's okay. And you might have to take it apart, and that's okay. It's just nice and here and soft, and we can just keep going. Congratulations! We've made our nice little square pot holder. And now we need to take it off the needle. But we can't just slip it off, otherwise the whole thing comes unraveled. So we're going to cast off. And it's almost exactly like a regular knitting stitch. So we're going to do exactly the same thing we've been doing this whole time. Right through the stitch on the left, around the back, and down the middle. I'm going to push the right needle down and push the stitch off. Now we want 2 of these on the right needle. Next to our, wrap it around, down the middle. Push the right needle down and push it off the left needle. So now that we've got these 2, we can go ahead and drop this left needle and just leave it be. We're going to focus on this right needle here. Slide the 2 stitches towards the end. We're going to take the back stitch, pinch it, and lift it over the first stitch and off the end of the needle. Don't worry, we'll do it again. We're going to stitch 1 over to the right side, drop the left needle, focus on the right one, pinch the back stitch, and pull it over the first stitch. And now see, we've got this little tail going at the end. That's what we want to see. And we're going to keep going all the way to the end. So when we've got 2 stitches on the right needle, we're going to pinch the back stitch and pull it up over the first stitch. And go all the way to the end. All right, we've only got just the 1 stitch left. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to sort of make the loop a little bigger. And then we can just go ahead and take the needle out. We have our tail here. Make sure to leave this loop. We're going to cut the tail and pass the end through the loop. Pull it nice and tight. And we've got these 2 little tails. Now we can leave them alone. We can cut them a little short, but we don't want to cut them right up in here because then the whole thing will just start to unravel. So something that we can do is just take a little loop and tie a knot. Just tie another knot. doesn't particularly matter which loop. Not to your heart's content. And now we can cut this off right here. Same thing on this side. Pick a loop, tie it into a little knot, and then we can just cut off the little tail. And we've got our lovely little pot holder.